Good morning, ladies, and welcome to the latest in our Inspired Women Biz Bestie series. So I'm just waiting for Carmen Watts to join us. So Carmen is from Wild Brand, and I will jump into a bit more about her when we get her on the line. In the meantime, I'll just tell you a little bit about, there we go, there's Carmen. I'll just add Carmen now. Excellent. Thanks for joining, Carmen. So a bit about Biz Bestie series. So firstly, I'm Renee, Kacz, in case we haven't met yet. I'm just introducing everyone to what we're all about and what's going down today, babe. And
Cool.
I'll introduce you in a sec. So in case we haven't met yet, which I probably have met most of you ladies by now, my name's Renee, Kacz, and I'm the founder of the Inspired Women. So Inspired Women, what I do, the premise behind all of our events and everything we do with the Inspired Women is all about inspiration plus education plus action equals transformation. So we've got events, plus we've got our beautiful community, our online community. Thanks for the love, guys. Give us some love when you jump on. Nice to see you there. The whole idea behind our community, it's not just about getting together and networking. There's so much more to it. Inspiration's amazing. It makes us feel great, but it kind of can fade a little bit. So I find that by adding that element of education, hey, Cheryl, nice to have you on. Education helps empower people, create change, but we know that knowledge is only potential power. So by adding action in there, that's when we get the real results, and that's when it leads to transformations. That's the premise behind all of our events, and we're all about connecting, collaborating, and together succeeding. And that is what is behind this Biz Bestie. Hey, Yvonne, nice to see you here. I haven't seen you for a while, actually. So nice to, what our events are all about is bringing that together. And also, yes, so the Biz Bestie interview series, we are all about bringing forward some of the ladies from our community and showcasing them, because it's like, yeah, we've got these awesome events and we get, around 50 ladies coming along to each of our events twice each month. But in between there, there's a lot of time between those events, and it's nice to be able to keep that connection alive. And so by doing these interviews, it's really about saying thanks to the ladies that really get behind the group and are really active in the group and supportive of it, and also letting us find out a bit more about each other. I think it's really important to do that. So part of that is today I have the amazing Carmen Watts here from Wild Brand. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, Carmen.
Thanks for having me, Renee.
Well, yes, I know I wouldn't have been able to stop you. Carmen's been pestering me to do this all week. Hey,
yeah,
Lucy,
I love
thanks
going
for
live.
joining. Yeah. So let's dive straight into it then, Carmen. Tell us a bit about your business. Tell us a bit about Wild Brand. For people who haven't met you, guys, Carmen was actually one of our mentors at our Meet the Mentor event recently, because Carmen has a very long history working in a digital marketing agency and doing branding. And so, of course, it was a no-brainer to get her on board as one of our mentors. And the feedback from the ladies who were lucky enough to sit at her table was just phenomenal. So, Carmen, tell us a bit about Wild Brand.
Sure. So hello, everyone that's watching. So Wild Brand is a online boutique branding agency. So we kind of have this philosophy that every business owner has a unique brand, kind of like everyone's got a fingerprint. And it's our job as, brand specialists to uncover what that fingerprint looks like. And so we work with startups who are looking to create a brand from scratch, and also with existing businesses who want to improve and transform what they started with. So, they've started a brand, or they've started building something and it's gotten them this far, but it's not going to get them this far. So we kind of step in and we look at what they've already done, where they want to go, and how we can get them there, basically. That's kind of the nutshell version. There's a lot in it, but I suppose what I'm really passionate about is combining, I guess, new marketing principles with branding, because the landscape has changed so much. And it's our job to keep up, and not just the marketers, but everybody in the space. It's not enough to just be good at what you do. You've got to be a marketer as well. So that's kind of my philosophy, and that's why I started my business.
Awesome. So what kinds of things, if someone wanted help from you, what services would they seek from you, or what kinds of things would you do for them?
Usually people come to me and they want, a logo, or they want a website, or they want, some sort of design work. And then usually we sort of dig a little bit deeper with people, and they find that maybe they're not quite happy with their brand. They're not quite happy with their communications. Their website's letting them down. It's not driving them leads. So all sorts of things. But usually when they come to me, it's for something a lot smaller than a full rebrand. They usually think that they just need a little tweak with their design. But when we start having that conversation and I start teaching them about the real branding process, we find that there's a lot more work to be done. And then they start to think, oh, you know, maybe I should look at rewriting my website content. Maybe I should revise my marketing strategy. You know, maybe I need to rebrand. Maybe I need to rebuild my website. So there's all sorts of things that we do, and it's really specific to the people that we work with. So we don't try and have a one-size-fits-all solution, because every business is different. Every brand should be different. So we really tweak our approach depending on who we're working with.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I like that it's really unique to each individual person rather than that cookie cutter approach, because everyone is unique. So it needs to really fit that personality.
Totally.
And something we definitely see a lot more of these days is people want to buy from people. We don't want to buy from corporations. We don't want this corporate image. We want to know who's the person I'm working with. Do I like them? Do I want to buy from them or not? So when did you launch Wild Brand?
So I launched officially at the start of last year, but the concept has been brewing in my mind for about a decade. It was more so just getting the guts to be able to start my own business and do my own thing. But yeah, officially started early last year, but in my mind, this thing started a really, really long time ago.
Yeah, awesome. And so obviously the entrepreneurial journey is so up and down. And part of this Biz Bestie interviews is I love to find out from our interviewees a bit about your journey. And hindsight's amazing. It wouldn't have been fabulous to know certain things, you know, now or then that we know now. What would be, if there was one thing that maybe could have made your journey a bit easier that you could share with our community that could help other ladies in business, what would that be? I mean, I know there's a lot of things. I had someone send me some interview questions the other day, and they're like, how many failures have you had, or what's a major failure you've had in business? Explain the different failures. I'm like, man, there's too many. There's like, what do you want from just this week or like this year?
Totally.
So there's always so many things, but what's been something in particular you feel might have helped make your journey a bit easier?
There's so much, and there's so much that I'm still trying to learn. Like, you know, you can know something academically, but it's constant work to really implement that in your life, and you've got to sometimes just continuously relearn something. So honestly, like, how much time have you got? Let me go through like some that I think are particularly relevant to me right now, and some that have been particularly challenging for me to learn. So one of the most important things I've had to learn is that it's okay to not feel like you're killing it all the time. So we live in an age where everybody's always trying to present and project this version of success all the time. And we're in the social media age, and, you know, everyone's a 6-figure business owner or a 7-figure business owner, and no one wants to make their business look like hard work. And so we've kind of created this environment where it feels like everyone else is killing it and I'm not. And, you know, you've got to be okay with feeling a bit crap sometimes and having to get on with things and just keep going, because no one's going to pick you up. No one's going to fix your problems for you. Like, you're the only person that can make that happen for yourself. So that's something that I've constantly had to remind myself, is that, you know, you're not going to wake up every day and bounce out of bed and be full of energy. Sometimes you're going to have to, you know, push yourself to just get stuff done anyway. And you're not going to always feel great about that. So that's probably one that I've struggled the most with. And, you know, you've got to be your own biggest cheerleader. You've got to be in your own corner. And so that's really hard. But to me, that's the most important thing. You've got to be really, really mentally strong to run a business of any kind. You've got to have balls. You've got to have guts, you know, like the second
I definitely agree with that. Just to tap in on that, because I think there's something else there, and that, like, there are moments where you're killing it and it's amazing and you feel great. Mm-hmm. And then there's other moments where you don't feel so good. And in those moments, it's, I think, good to insulate yourself and not do certain things that can make you feel worse. Like, don't look through social media. I know if I'm feeling a bit flat, morning Aqua, thanks for joining us, and hey Morgan, if you're feeling a bit flat, don't be like, I know there's certain triggers for me. Like, I learned years ago, and I don't, I'm not an overweight person, but I learned years ago I can't read glossy magazines, because it doesn't matter how fit or healthy or amazing I might be looking. If I read a glossy magazine, by the time I'm at the end of it, I'm like, oh, I feel disgusting. I need to go. I need to go do a workout. I can't eat that. like, that's just stupid. This is BS. And it's the same with business. So if you're feeling a little bit rubbish, or if you're feeling a little bit like you're getting that comparisonitis, number one, you never know what's going on for other people. Social media and the way people present themselves, that's one thing. It's not reality. It's, that's the highlights reel. And if you're feeling a bit flat, I find for me the best thing I can do is go outside, meditate, ground myself, and then get back to what I'm doing. Not look at other people, avoid that, just stay in my own lane, focus on my own thing, and then the wins will start coming in again, and you're like, oh, that's right, that's why I do this. I am good at this. Cool.
Oh, that's right, I am amazing. Totally. Actually, that reminds me, I saw a quote, I can't remember who said it, but it was, don't compare your behind the scenes to other people's highlights. Yes. And I think that's something that we all need to be mindful of. Like, I'm in a lot of groups, different business networking groups on Facebook and things like that, and people are constantly posting and saying, I feel really crap, can someone pull me up? And I think that sometimes we just need, it's that death by comparison. It's just every day you wake up, you've got 20 emails from all these successful people, and you look online and it's just one after the other of, look how much money I'm making, look how well I'm doing, just signed this client, just did that. But it's all just the highlight reel, and sometimes I think it's really good to remember that.
Definitely. So I cut you off earlier. What was your second hot tip you wanted to share?
Hot tip. Oh, okay. So I haven't even figured out a way to articulate this in a way that's really clear. So you might be able to help me, Ren, but I feel like one thing I've really noticed is what's going on in your mind will be mirrored in your business. So, for example, the first 12 months, really the longest time in my business, I was afraid to sort of get myself off the runway, so to speak, and I didn't like putting myself out there. And, and that's still something I'm trying to become okay with, but I didn't like putting myself out there. I didn't like talking about myself. I didn't like, showcasing our work, even though I think our work's amazing, but I just wasn't comfortable with it. And so, that was a personal issue that I was having, and that was reflecting and affecting my business. So, it wasn't serving anybody, me not being okay with putting myself out there. That was only going to hinder my business. But I had to get through a lot of stuff personally and mentally in order to feel okay with doing that. And that's a constant challenge, and it's something that I'm always going to be working through. But I've found that, how you feel mentally is going to show up in your business one way or another, and probably magnify it as well. I don't know how it works. Sometimes it's spooky, but that's what happens. I'm sure there's some sort of quantum physics or some sort of mystical law going on there.
A model behind it.
Yeah,
well,
there's something there.
How you do anything is how you do everything. And I really like, one of my friends shared with me years ago, I was doing some personal training with him, and he's like, the attitude you bring to exercise is the attitude you bring to life. And I thought, okay, so when am I giving up? Where am I stopping short? Where am I not following through? And how's my attitude showing through? And then I see that with other entrepreneurs, like my sister when we work out together, is really funny. And so she'll stop short, and I'm like, okay, Fiona, so where are you also doing that same thing in your business? And she's like, oh, this is so amazing. And then we're like brainstorming it mid-workout and doing all these things. It's pretty funny.
Love that.
I think, you can see it. And when I first started out in coaching, I was doing peak performance coaching, which is, whole of life stuff. And it didn't matter if I was working with someone on something in their business or if I was working on them, thanks for the love, Aqua. And it didn't matter what area of their life. Like, they could be sharing a story about something that happened with their partner or something that happened with their health and fitness. Whatever they were doing would come up across all areas of their life, because that's what we're doing. And interesting hearing that story about being afraid to put yourself out there, because that in turn was, and so Yvonne said that's the exact same thing for her. And when we don't put ourselves out there, that's what is actually getting in our own way of achieving what we want to achieve and being able to help people. And in fact, something one of my coaches shared with me early in my business journey was, by us not sharing our business with other people, it's actually doing them a disservice. If we're here to serve others and help them, and then someone's having a conversation with you and they're like, oh, I really need help with this, I'm looking for someone to help with my branding, and then you can dive deeper and you're thinking, gosh, I can really see the real challenge here is this, and that's something that I can really help with. By not telling them about it, that's not fair, because they're suffering, they're in pain of some level. You can take that pain away from them but you're choosing not to because of your own barriers, which is really actually very selfish. Whereas when we make it about the other person, it's not about whether you get a sale or not. It's just like, hey, so tell me a bit more about that. I'm really interested to know about that. You can dive deeper and then go, well, if you'd like, I can help with that. This is exactly what my business does and this is how we do it. And that gives them the opportunity to solve that problem. So I think there can be some simple mind shifts around it. But also, and I know you posted this in the group yesterday, and I think maybe I'll do a live on this as well.
You should.
About visualization, because
yes.
when you've got a really clear vision and you know where you're going, it makes it a lot easier to, firstly, it inspires you and it keeps you moving towards it when you tap into that vision daily. And I think having a daily practice also, actually, we had a beautiful post in the group this morning from Carolyn Verhoff. One is greed, the other sows. Okay. And we had a great post this morning from Carolyn as well about morning rituals and routines and how do you set your day up. And this, I think, is so powerful. And so, you know, when we're needing a bit of help and wanting to stay inspired on that journey and really move past, you know, any barriers or blocks, whatever they are, whether it's about getting yourself out there or any part of your business, one thing will always help. And what I love to do is start the day meditating. And that's, you know, we have a shower each day to wash the dirt from our body. So you meditate each day to wash the stress from your body. It's so powerful. And then secondly, it's about being grateful and really being grateful for the things in your life. Hey, Alison, thanks for joining us. And really being grateful for what you do love in your life. And some days it can be just as simple as, because like, I've got the best bed ever. It is so comfortable. So most days I'm like, so grateful for my amazing bed. And then I can hear the birds singing. I'll be grateful for that, and grateful that I can hear. How awesome is it that I can hear, you know, even if there is a traffic diversion going down my street this morning because of the roadworks up the road. Isn't it amazing I can hear that traffic rather than if I didn't have my hearing? And all the different things you're grateful for. When you're in that energetic state, then you're able to bring in more of that which you're grateful for. So then from that space, I mean, what I personally like to do then is to pray. Now, not necessarily to God, but it's more just like a general thing. And that is a way that I get out my fears and frustrations and challenges, and I seek guidance and put it out there to receive that guidance and those solutions I'm after. And then the final part, and this is the magic, visualization. So I focus on, so think about my big picture vision, and then I'll focus on, say, 3 areas. So it might be my health, firstly, and really seeing and feeling myself to be doing all the things that I want to be doing in my peak state of health and where I see myself going with that. And then secondly, you know, relationship and how I want that to be. And business, of course, well, usually business comes first. So, and visualizing, you know, sometimes it depends. It really depends on where I'm at the time and what's going on. I might be working on a launch, so I could be focusing on what does it look like at the end of that launch. Or it could be in a year, 2 years, 3 years' time, 5 years' time, how I see my business. So I find no matter how you wake up and how you feel first thing in the morning, if you do that ritual and routine, you jump out of bed feeling amazing. And then that visualization helps you draw to you. You could call it manifesting, but it is also actually turning on a part of your brain, the reticular activation system, which then enables you to find opportunities to create that which you've visualized.
Love it.
So that's
I need an accountability buddy with visualizing. With my morning routine, I go through phases where I'm really good with it, and then I drop off the wagon, and then I get back on, and then I jump off again. But yeah, I need to be like every day. What would Renee do? You know, she'd be visualizing right now.
Right now, that's all she does, like all day. She just visualizes. Well, we can set up a little accountability post in the group, because I know there's lots of ladies that, you know, love getting involved in the 5 a.m. club and that sort of thing. So we can see if we can do a little daily thing there to stay on track, which would be really cool.
For sure.
So just moving on. Oh, did you have any other challenges that you wanted to share, or something you wish?
How much time have you got, Renee?
We can do, I think, one more.
One more.
Yes,
okay.
Aqua wants one more.
Right. Okay, Aqua, I have so many. Like, honestly, I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, I could write like a 3,000-word essay on this. So, okay, if I was to choose one more, it would be no one knows better than you do. I think that we're always looking for answers outside of ourselves. Like, you know, oh, I've got a problem, someone else can fix it, or, you know, someone else is an expert. Like, we always have this tendency to look for answers outside of ourselves and to think that other people know more than we do, other people know better than we do. And the truth is, most of the time, like, people aren't any smarter or more experienced or anything. You know, it's just our perception of what we know versus what other people know. So I think I've had to learn some really hard lessons around trusting my gut in business, especially, you know, and it's an excuse at the end of the day, but, you know, I've always had, when I started, I was always, oh, I'm too young, you know, I don't have enough experience, I don't know enough, blah, blah, blah. And it's all just BS, and it's absolutely not true. But I've had to really learn to trust my gut. And a couple of times I've gone against my gut and I've paid for it later. So we just have to be really mindful of who we put on a pedestal, you know, and by what measure we're, I guess, judging them. You know, like, for example, someone might be making a lot of money and you might think, oh, well, that's the poster child for what I should be aspiring to because they're making a lot of money. But if their relationships are terrible, they work 20 hours a day, their health is falling apart, you know, they don't have close interpersonal relationships, they're not mentally, you know, healthy, whatever. We just need to be careful about the parameters within which we judge other people as being successful. You're best placed to solve your own problems. And I think we need to put more weight to what we know, what our experience has been and where we've come from. We need to trust ourselves more. We need to trust our intuition more because it's there for a really good reason. And if you are going to do something or you're about to make a decision or something and you have that little pang inside your gut that says, hang on a minute, I'm not sure, you've got to learn to listen to that. And on the same token, if you go around asking everyone else for their opinion about what you're doing, you're going to get as many opinions as people you ask. And you need to be careful about how much weight you give to other people's opinions as well. The opinion that you should value most is your own at the end of the day. So I just think we need to look at how we judge and how we view other people. We need to look at who we've put on a pedestal as well and by what standard we're measuring their success. And and just trust your gut. You know, it's there for a reason. It's designed to protect us. And, you know, as I said, I've made a couple of mistakes where I didn't trust my gut and I paid for it. Yeah. So that's something that I actually have written on my whiteboard, trust your gut. Just because, you know, it's such an important thing and, you know, every day. It's so easy to ignore. So, yeah, that's kind of my third thing. Yeah, that's interesting. And I think I know what you're talking about. Carmen and I both bought a product from a particular company. And, you know, and that mine was a year ago, just over a year ago I did. And at the time I was like, I don't trust these people. I don't like them. There's something about, this is all wrong on so many levels. But I was like, but this program, I mean, if it does what it says it'll do, that'd be amazing. And it didn't. They overpromised, underdelivered. It was horrific. And then Carmen and I were chatting recently and she's like, oh, yeah, I've just signed up with these guys. I was like, oh, yeah. How's that going? And I'm like, I don't want to say anything. Like, maybe they've improved. And they hadn't, which is a bit, anyway, a little bit disappointing to learn. But interestingly, we both had that feeling deep in our gut that this wasn't right. Yet we still were like, no, it is, it's fine. I do think there is an element there though, like there is education. We need to be continuing our education. And I think when we really step up and get to the next level in our business, it's about taking that seriously and buying things and paying for the right education and the right knowledge, because you can only get so much free stuff and there's free content everywhere, which is amazing. But depending on how deep you need to go with things and how serious you are about your business, if you're happy just, you know, plodding along and having it as a bit of a hobby and making a bit of money here and there, you know, maybe 20, 40 grand a year, that's fine. But when you really want to take your business seriously, you need to be getting information and education from trusted sources and people who have got your back, who really do give a damn and want to see you succeed. That's important, as well as checking in with your intuition and your gut and saying, is this the right thing for me? Then I think that's kind of where the magic lies. So we'll go on to the next question. So that was really awesome. Some things you wish you knew before you started. Very powerful. And I could go all day on that topic. Seriously.
We connected a while ago now, but what is it that you love best about the Inspired Women community and being part of our group?
So the background I've come from in terms of my workplace, I'm used to being in busy like marketing, advertising agencies where the phone's always ringing, someone's always joking around, someone's always, there's always people talking, there's always noise. And then I started working for myself from home, and all of a sudden it was just crickets. And I was like, oh God, is this what other people, is this normal? Like, and I just felt really, really lonely. So I learned really quick that I needed to build a community of people around me. So I really liked the vibe of the Inspired Women group. And from the first, and I'm allergic to networking, and I say that as a marketer, but being honest with you, I hate networking. I just hate it. I think it's the most cringeworthy thing ever. It's forced. I don't like, having referral targets and all that sort of thing. So I went to my first Inspired Women event and I was like, okay, this is a bit different from what I was expecting. And within the first event, the very first event that I went to, I feel like I'd actually made genuine friends. And some of the women in the group are just amazing. Like, the one thing that I really like about it is everyone's just really genuine and everyone's always trying to just help each other out. I used to have this perception of business owners that everyone was out to compete against each other, and no one was going to help each other, and we've got to protect our IP and we can't give too much away and blah blah blah. And since going out on my own and meeting so many beautiful business women, like, I've realized that it's actually the opposite of that. Like, we just want to help each other, and I think there's enough clients out there for everybody, like,
Absolutely.
We're not competitors, we can all help each other. And I know that you've got a lot of really strong philosophies around this, Ren, and I completely agree. And honestly, like, I've made clients from the group that I love. We've done a couple of really amazing, we're in the process of a couple of rebrands at the moment, and they're not just clients, like, they're kind of like mates, like, they'll call me up and sometimes they'll call me up on my own shit, and that's amazing. And every single person that I've spoken to in the Inspired Women group has taught me something, and I've learned as much from them as they have from me. And to tell you a story about why I like the group so much, yesterday when I posted in it about anyone having any practices for like visualization or whatever, somehow the lovely Annette Phillips knew that she must have sensed something, because she messaged me and said, can I call you? And I was like, oh, not right now, Annette, I've got a deadline to meet and I'm stressing out. And I was stressing balls yesterday a little bit. We had like a pretty heavy deadline to meet. And anyway, the next thing you know, Annette calls me and she's like, Carmen, I know you're busy, but this is only going to take 2 minutes. She's like, yeah, breathe for me. Breathe in, breathe out. And I was like, that's cool, that someone would just call you up and just to help you, So we spent 5 minutes on the phone, and she really helped me feel better, like, and it's things like that I love. Like, you actually have genuine connections with people. And yeah, so I mean, what's not to like about that? And I feel like genuinely I've built a community around me that I didn't have before.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. And Annette, aren't you beautiful? Yes,
Adorable.
2 minutes to a better you. Love it. And we'll be featuring Annette next week. Thanks, Lee. Thanks for the love. So we have got lots of awesome ladies in our group. Knowing where, yes, it's very interesting, as I had the image of everyone as well I posted, so, awesome. So, Carmen, there's lots of amazing ladies in our group, but I'd love to know specifically, are there any, say, strategic partnerships that you're looking to build for Wild Brand, or there are particular businesses that you're hoping to connect with that maybe you'd ask those ladies to reach out to you?
Okay, I mean, obviously, if anyone wants any branding help at all, then yes, contact me. And, that's all fine. But I suppose across the board, like, I don't want to limit who I want to connect with too much, because I feel like everyone's got something really special to offer. And even if it's just a friendship, like I said, I've gotten a lot out of just making connections from the group. So I suppose, yeah, if anyone's interested in, talking about their branding, I'd be certainly keen to have that kind of chat. But otherwise, like, if you're just looking for a new friend, I'm here.
Carmen always loves a vino, even if she's in the car.
I do love a vino. Okay, I won't lie to you. I do. Yeah. I'm in marketing. That's what we do, isn't it?
And how can people get hold of you? What's the best way for them to get hold of you?
So you can either on Facebook, business page is We Are Wild Brand. If you want to connect with me personally, my name's Carmen Watts. Otherwise, we've also got a group on Facebook, which I like to geek out on marketing stuff in there. I'm not selling anything in the group. There's nothing to buy from me. It's really just so that I've got a safe space to share the things that I've been geeking out on. So that's called Self-Made. That's you can find that on my business page as well. Yeah.
Sorry, with the wine thing, I didn't mean when she's driving. I was driving her somewhere the other day. We were talking about that, and I just had a thought then. I was
Thank you for clarifying.
She doesn't drink and drive.
No, I don't.
Okay, so you can connect with Carmen via Facebook, or you can find her business page on their Wild Brand, or her group Self-Made. Awesome. I might have to go jump in that because I geek out on all things marketing. Yes, Carmen, can you share the link to your group in the comments below and also to your Facebook page? And
absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. Well, as soon as this is uploaded, you will see that. Well, thanks for joining us, ladies. I really appreciate you being on.
Yeah, thank you.
It's all right. Lee loves to drink and drive as well, so it's okay. You're in safe company.
Oh, dear.
And join us on Monday. I don't have my schedule in front of me. Oh, yeah, 7 p.m. I think 7 or 7:30. I'm going live with Kathy McGarvey. Kathy has Pet Sitters Club WA. She actually said to me, she's like, okay, yeah, come over. We'll do it together and we'll have a few vinos. I'm like, babe, I'm not drinking, but okay. So Kathy will be on the vinos and doing her interview on Monday. So that'll be a lot of fun. She's hilarious. All right, guys, have yourself an amazing Friday and wonderful weekend. Bye.
See ya.